I constructed a $480 million property portfolio after my former partner and his family discarded me with nothing. Today they're livid that I control their housing, tripled their monthly payments, and delivered termination papers on New Year's Day. Hello friends, your support means everything. Please subscribe and drop a comment about your location. Now, let's begin this journey. Vanilla and cardamom scented our apartment that January afternoon. 8 months along, I was organizing Marcus's winter sweaters while humming old melodies. Nausea still plagued me occasionally. I'd barely finished arranging his favorite pullover when the apartment door burst open. Sit down. We're having a conversation. Marcus appeared rigid, his father Leonard beside him like a sentinel preparing for battle. Dread flooded through me. His tone carried something ominous. Sweetheart, what happened? Everything all right? Skip the sweetheart nonsense, Leonard snapped, eyes glacial. Explain yourself, Marcus. Tell her what we discovered. Marcus avoided my gaze. After 9 years together, the person who vowed eternal devotion transformed into someone unrecognizable. This child. I question whether it's actually mine. Everything tilted sideways. What? Marcus, how dare you suggest? Stop pretending, Leonard interrupted sharply. We hired investigators. We're aware of your secret encounters. That was Terence, my cousin. He drove up from. Enough excuses, Marcus cut me off, jaw clenched. DNA testing is mandatory. Meanwhile, you're leaving. Leaving? This is our home. I'm 8 months pregnant with your baby. Leonard's laughter carried cruelty. This apartment belongs to Marcus exclusively. You possess 0 legal claims. Collect your belongings immediately. I searched Marcus's face for the person I'd married. He turned his back. Marcus, please, my voice fractured. Don't abandon us. His silence delivered the final blow. They granted me 90 minutes to dismantle 9 years of shared existence. My fingers trembled while stuffing clothing into plastic bags. They refused access to the luggage we'd purchased for our anniversary trip. Leonard monitored from the doorway, expression hard. The accessories remain, he declared. Everything Marcus purchased belongs here. These were presents. Gifts revert to the giver when trust is violated, he said coldly. Consider yourself fortunate we're not involving authorities. I reached for my mother's locket, my sole connection to her memory. This belonged to my mother. Marcus never. Leonard yanked it away. The chain snapped, sending small gemstones skittering across tile. Prove ownership. Oh right, you can't. She's been gone 12 years. Tears obscured my vision as I crawled, attempting to retrieve the stones. My swollen belly made movement agonizing. Leonard's shoe crushed one deliberately. Disgraceful, he muttered. Marcus reappeared holding my vehicle keys. The Mercedes is registered under my policy. How am I supposed to? Figure it out like you figured out betraying my son. The transit station sat 8 blocks distant. I hauled 4 bags through freezing rain. My jacket soaked through while my daughter thrashed inside me. Strangers gawked. A young man smirked. I contacted my closest friend Keisha 17 times. Voicemail. My brother Isaiah. Voicemail. My parents had died 4 years earlier. My personal account held exactly $187. By evening, I occupied a corner booth at an all-night restaurant, making 1 coffee last hours, nowhere to turn. The crisis shelter reeked of bleach and hopelessness. 53 women compressed into space designed for 30. That night, I lay on a narrow cot, spine screaming, listening to someone's infant wailing nearby. My own daughter kicked relentlessly. Perhaps she sensed my terror. First visit here? The woman beside me, LaToya, appeared around 45 but looked 60. Her eyes held countless stories. That transparent. She smiled wearily. You've still got determination in your expression. Check back in 2 weeks. Sleep evaded me. Every time my eyes closed, I saw Leonard's contemptuous face, heard Marcus's betrayal through silence. My phone vibrated. A message from my former colleague, Brittany. Word spread about your situation. Marcus is broadcasting that you were unfaithful with numerous partners. So sorry. My hand quivered. He was systematically destroying my character. Every shared acquaintance, every professional contact, he was poisoning them against me. Another message, from my childhood friend Gabrielle. Cannot fathom you treating Marcus this way. Please don't reach out again. I wanted to shout my innocence, defend myself. But who believes a destitute pregnant woman over a prosperous investment banker and his influential developer father? At 3 a.m., contractions began. Premature labor warning, the emergency physician explained, triggered by extreme stress. You must remain calm or risk early delivery. Where are you currently residing? I couldn't form words. The counselor provided resource lists and a sympathetic expression. Secure stable housing before delivery. Stable housing. With $187 and plastic bags of possessions. That night, I made a vow to my daughter, palm pressed to my stomach, we'll endure this nightmare. And eventually, we'll flourish beyond imagination. I spent daylight hours at the municipal library. Warmth, free access, wireless internet. I'd refresh my credentials between restroom visits for basic hygiene. 4 weeks of employment applications produced nothing. We'll contact you translated to we noticed your shelter address. One morning at a cafe, stretching a small latte across 4 hours, a woman in an exquisite charcoal suit claimed the opposite chair. Her platinum hair was impeccably styled, her presence formidable. I've observed you, she stated. You've occupied this spot every morning for 8 days. Identical beverage, identical table, identical computer that appears maintained through sheer determination. Shame heated my face. I apologize. I'll go. I'm not requesting your departure. I'm questioning why an obviously intelligent, articulate woman rations coffee like precious fuel. Something about her frankness penetrated my defenses. Extended explanation. I've got time. I'm Eleanor. This establishment is mine. I revealed everything. By conclusion, I was weeping into lukewarm coffee. Eleanor offered no hollow reassurances. Instead, she extracted a business card. I require an assistant. Someone brilliant, motivated, with everything to gain. Compensation is $16 hourly. Not substantial, but... When do I begin? She smiled. You already have. I invest in properties, renovations, rental management, expansion plans. Can you handle property software, tenant correspondence, real estate regulations? I can master anything. Excellent. I'll teach you everything I've learned over decades. But understand, I don't provide charity. You'll work harder than anyone I've employed, or you're finished. Agreed. I clasped her hand, feeling my daughter respond with movement. Agreed. Eleanor wasn't exaggerating about expectations. I rose at 4:30 a.m., arrived at her headquarters by 5:30, worked until 1 a.m. I absorbed property assessment, market evaluation, tenant regulations, construction fundamentals, negotiation strategies. She was demanding but equitable. When I erred, she ensured I corrected mistakes and comprehended the underlying principles. Real estate isn't about structures, she explained one evening, reviewing my initial independent property analysis. It's understanding human needs, market timing, recognizing potential in overlooked opportunities. My daughter, I'd mentally named her Sophia, would arrive in 7 weeks. I'd accumulated enough for a tiny studio in a challenging neighborhood. Barred windows and cockroaches, but it was mine. That first night there, I wept with gratitude. Eleanor visited, surveyed the space, and frowned. This place is terrible. It's what my budget allows. Not for long. She handed me an envelope containing a $3,500 check. Your signing bonus. Should have given this initially. Eleanor, I cannot. You can and will. Consider it an investment. I don't back losing prospects, and you're destined for extraordinary success. I recognize it. That evening, I purchased a bassinet, infant clothes, real food. For the first time in 3 months, I felt almost whole. But life wasn't finished testing me. At my subsequent prenatal examination, the nurse appeared troubled. Your blood pressure is concerning. We need close monitoring. Stress-related hypertension, the physician cautioned. Without improvement, we may need early induction. I thought about Marcus, comfortable in our former apartment. Leonard probably remodeling my previous space. Neither had attempted contact once. Sophia arrived 4 weeks early during a tempest. 26 hours of labor, alone except for Eleanor, who appeared at the hospital with flowers and refused to leave. Where's the father? A nurse inquired. Absent from this picture, Eleanor responded before I could. But this infant has everything necessary. When they placed Sophia in my arms, all 5 pounds, 12 ounces, something fundamental shifted within me. Her miniature fingers wrapped around mine, and I felt fierce protectiveness I'd never experienced. Hello, my warrior, I whispered. We'll prove them all wrong. Reality arrived swiftly. Childcare was expensive. I brought Sophia to work in a carrier, nursing between calls, changing diapers during breaks. Eleanor never objected. My daughter was raised in offices and construction sites, she said. She became successful. Well, she's an architect now, so perhaps that's debatable. 4 months postpartum, I was exhausted but absorbing knowledge rapidly. Eleanor allowed me to negotiate with contractors, examine agreements, accompany her to property viewings. I was learning like I was preparing for battle. Because I was. One evening, reviewing property databases, I found it. Marcus and Leonard's new venture. They'd purchased a 14-unit complex in one of our target districts. I examined the public records. They'd overpaid by approximately 23%. The building required substantial repairs they likely hadn't budgeted for. Their financing was variable rate. They're overextended, Eleanor observed, reviewing my screen. When interest rates climb, they'll struggle tremendously. I smiled slowly. Then let's ensure they eventually have a landlord who values the property appropriately. You've learned exceptionally well, Eleanor said proudly. Now, let's execute strategy. The economy shifted. Interest rates increased. I monitored Marcus and Leonard's building obsessively. They were struggling, I could see it in deferred maintenance, tenant complaints accumulating in public databases, vacancy signs persisting too long. Our company, meanwhile, flourished. We'd expanded into commercial spaces. I'd executed a series of brilliant acquisitions. Our portfolio now valued at $78 million. Eleanor was semi-retired, traveling, trusting me completely. I'd also established reputation. Industry professionals recognized my name. Isabella Chen, the woman who identified value and negotiated brilliantly. Then I received the anticipated call. Ms. Chen, this is Margaret Foster from Coastal Bank. We have a property entering foreclosure that might interest you. She provided the address. Marcus and Leonard's building. What's your asking price? We're owed $440,000. We'll accept $380,000 for quick closure. The building was worth $550,000 minimum. I can provide earnest funds tomorrow. All cash offer, close within 10 days. Agreed. I disconnected and sat perfectly still. Sophia was at playgroup. The irony wasn't lost on me. Leonard didn't realize Sophia was his granddaughter. Marcus never informed him. I contacted my attorney. Prepare termination notices for all tenants in the building we're acquiring. 60-day notice, completely legal. And I want the previous owners notified immediately upon closing. That's quite aggressive. They'll understand perfectly. Trust me. Comment. Yes. Justice is approaching. Now, Let's continue. The closing was scheduled for January 3rd. I wore my finest suit, custom-tailored, navy like Eleanor's that fateful day we met. My attorney accompanied me. The bank's representative organized paperwork. The previous owners declined to attend, he explained. They're quite upset about the foreclosure. I'm certain they are. I signed the documents. The building was mine. Our portfolio now valued at $84 million. Eleanor Properties was officially among the top women-owned real estate enterprises statewide. I held the deed, feeling its significance. Then I placed a call. Marcus, this is Isabella. Silence. Then, how did you obtain this number? I own your building now. The bank foreclosed. I purchased it. I thought you deserved to hear this directly from me. I heard muffled voices. Leonard in the background, shouting. You cannot, that's not. Check your mail. You'll discover a 60-day termination notice. March 1st deadline. Vacate completely. Isabella, please. We can negotiate something. Like you negotiated when you discarded your pregnant wife into the streets. Remember that, Marcus? Remember watching me drag plastic bags through sleet? That was different. Father said. I don't care what Leonard said. He's receiving his notice too. The condominium he's renting 4 blocks away? I acquired that building 8 months ago. Interesting how he never mentioned having a new landlord named Isabella Chen. Perhaps he didn't make the connection. Or perhaps he did and hoped I'd forgotten. Marcus's voice fractured. We'll pursue legal action. With what resources? Your credit is demolished. And incidentally, I have information for Leonard. That granddaughter he's never acknowledged. The one you told me to terminate. She's 5 years old now. Her name is Sophia. She has your jawline. I disconnected. My hands trembled not with fear, with authority. I drove to Marcus's building on New Year's Day. Snow descended gently. Through the window of apartment 4C, I could see a small celebration, sparkling lights. A quieter gathering in apartment 7B, Leonard's residence. I'd sent the 60-day notices, but I'd also included revised lease options. If they wanted to remain, rent was increasing 300%. From $1,800 to $5,400 for Marcus. From $1,400 to $4,200 for Leonard. Marcus's attorney had contacted us. This constitutes harassment. Retaliation. Negative, my lawyer had countered. This represents market rate for recently renovated properties under new ownership. If your clients cannot afford market rate, they're welcome to relocate. I posted the notices on their doors personally. Gold envelopes. Impossible to overlook. Marcus opened his door as I was securing his notice. He looked awful older, grayer, defeated. Isabella. Marcus. I apologize for everything. Father was mistaken. I should have trusted you. You should have. But you didn't. You chose him over me. Over your daughter. I want to meet her. Sophia, please. I'd rehearsed this moment countless times. She asks about you occasionally. I tell her you're occupied. That's gentler than reality. What's reality? That her father rejected her before birth. That he never fought for her. Never sent a birthday greeting. Never contributed financially. That's reality, Marcus. His eyes brimmed with tears. I'll improve. I promise. You'll improve after you relocate. Consider this your motivation. You want involvement in Sophia's life. Establish yourself. Find housing. Build stability. Demonstrate change. Then maybe we'll discuss it. Leonard appeared in the corridor. He looked at me, at the notice, and his face turned crimson. You spiteful. Careful, I interrupted. I own this building and 7 others in this district. Mind your language. He sputtered, speechless for the first time ever. I walked away feeling lighter than I had in years. Marcus and Leonard had both relocated. I'd discovered them in separate low-income apartments across the city. Both had filed for bankruptcy. Leonard's developer license had been suspended for ethics violations unrelated to me, but karma has interesting timing. Eleanor Properties had grown beyond my wildest aspirations. We diversified into commercial real estate, storage facilities, mixed-use developments. Our portfolio was worth $487 million. I made the Business Journal's 40 under 40 list, though I was technically 39. Close enough. The article called me the phoenix of real estate, how one woman transformed homelessness into $500 million in property holdings. Marcus had requested a meeting about Sophia. I'd agreed with conditions: therapy first, child support established, consistency. He'd complied. The first meeting was supervised. Awkward. Sophia looked at this stranger and asked, "Are you my daddy?" Marcus cried. "Yes. I'm so sorry I wasn't there before." "It's okay," Sophia said, because she was 5 and had her mother's forgiving heart. "You're here now." I watched him embrace her and felt nothing. No anger, no love, just sadness for wasted years. Eleanor hosted a celebration for the company's 6th anniversary. 220 employees, a real estate empire, and me leading it all. She pulled me aside. "I'm proud of you. Your parents would be too. I wish they could witness this." "They can," she said gently. "Everything you've constructed, that's their legacy too." That night, tucking Sophia into bed in our beautiful penthouse apartment, she asked, "Mommy, are we wealthy?" "We're comfortable, sweetheart." "Good. Can we help other people who don't have homes? Like you didn't?" My heart expanded. "Absolutely. What do you think about starting a foundation?" "What's a foundation?" "It's how we ensure other mommies and babies don't have to sleep in shelters." Her smile was radiant. "Let's do that." I kissed her forehead, feeling complete. The Chen Foundation launched with $12 million in funding. We constructed transitional housing for homeless families, created employment training programs, partnered with shelters. I hired LaToya from the shelter as our first program director. She understood the struggle intimately. But success came with costs I hadn't anticipated. Marcus wanted shared custody. His attorney was aggressive. His established paternity. His stable, employed, engaged in therapy. He has parental rights. My attorney was grim. They might win partial custody. Courts favor fathers who demonstrate change. I was terrified. Not of losing Sophia, I'd never lose her, but of sharing her with people who'd wounded us. But Sophia loved having a father. She drew pictures of Daddy Marcus and asked when she could visit his apartment. The court awarded him supervised visitation, progressing toward unsupervised after 6 months of consistency. I watched my daughter leave with him that first time, and a piece of my heart departed with her. Eleanor squeezed my shoulder. "You're teaching her grace. That's powerful." Leonard requested a meeting. We met at a neutral coffee shop, ironically, the one where Eleanor found me. "I was wrong," Leonard said, looking older and fragile. "I destroyed your family because I was controlling, jealous that Marcus loved you more than me. I apologize. I wanted to hate him. I'd earned that hate. But I was exhausted from carrying it. I forgive you," I said quietly. "Not for you. For me. But Leonard, you hurt my daughter by keeping her from her father. That's unforgivable." "I know." Tears tracked down his face. "I'm in therapy now, learning about control issues, narcissism. I was toxic." "Yes, you were. Can I meet her?" "Sophia?" I considered it. "Maybe. Supervised. After you've proven consistent change. 18 months from now, we'll talk." He nodded, accepting the boundary. I left feeling strangely hollow. I'd built an empire. Proven them all wrong. But Sophia was sharing her time between homes now. Marcus was becoming a real father. Leonard was working on himself. The revenge I'd craved tasted hollow. That night, gazing at the city lights from my penthouse, I realized something profound. I'd won everything and lost the satisfaction I'd expected. Victory hadn't healed the wounds, it had just proven I could survive them. Sophia crawled into my lap. "Mommy, why are you sad?" "I'm not sad, sweetheart. Just thinking." "About what?" "About how sometimes winning doesn't feel like you thought it would." She hugged me tight. "I think you're the best winner ever." I held my daughter, healthy, happy, loved, and understood. This was the real victory. Not the empire, not the revenge. This moment. This child. This peace. But the cost had been pieces of myself I'd never recover, the ability to trust easily, the woman I'd been before betrayal, the years I'd spent building walls instead of bridges. I'd become powerful, successful, respected. But I'd also become hard in ways that frightened me sometimes. "Mama loves you more than anything," I whispered. "More than buildings," she laughed. I laughed through tears. "So much more than buildings." Outside, snow began falling, covering the city in white. A fresh start. A blank canvas. I'd built my empire from nothing. Now I had to learn to build something harder, a life where success didn't require enemies, where peace didn't require revenge, where power meant protecting, not punishing. Maybe that was the real lesson, the real moral. Not that we can overcome anything, but that we must be careful what overcoming costs us. That becoming powerful doesn't mean becoming cruel. That the empire means nothing if we lose ourselves building it. I held Sophia tighter and watched the snow fall, feeling simultaneously victorious and heartbroken. Because this was the truth nobody tells you about revenge. Even when you win, you still lose something. And getting everything you wanted can feel surprisingly empty when you realize the price you paid was becoming someone you're not sure you recognize anymore. But tomorrow, I'd wake up and try to be better, softer, more like the woman I was before the world broke me. That was the real work, the real empire building. And it would be the hardest thing I'd ever do. Thank you for reading. If this story resonated with you, please share your thoughts below. Have you ever had to rebuild yourself from nothing? Remember, success is the best revenge, but peace is the ultimate victory.